In less than a month, this already stellar year for games is going to be graced with one of the most ambitious titles yet. Starfield has all the makings of a phenomenal Bethesda title. It promises a vast open galaxy with 1,000 planets to explore, dynamic quests that put the fate of humanity in your hands, awesome shipbuilding, and a wide array of companions. Basically, it looks to be one of the most expansive and awe-inspiring games ever.
It's time to stop!
But when it launches on September 6th, I don't think you should buy it. Now, I'm not saying don't buy and play Starfield eventually, I'm just saying wait for a little bit. Let me explain. Bethesda has a storied history of overpromising on features and under-delivering at launch. Here's a selection of my favorite lies that they've told over the years.
You can play in third person as well, so we have a new animation system which looks great. And one of the great things about having a fully dynamic game engine is all of this just works. Let's take a look at the other side of the game, our new rating AI system. It allows NPCs to have full 24/7 schedules. These NPCs are not scripted.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch. I'm confiscating your stolen goods. Now pay your fine, or it's off to jail.
These NPCs are not scripted.
Now, lying about a game pre-release is commonplace these days. However, most companies deliver on most features they promise. I said most companies, CD Projekt Red. You ruined your reputation with that crappy Cyberpunk release. But Bethesda, and more specifically Todd Howard, have a history of not just over-promising, but massively exaggerating features, and in some cases blatantly misleading the public, such as when they said,
Graphics engine, so all new graphics, all new gameplay.
Everything gets a bit big, so as of last week, we're over 200 endings. That is not an exaggeration.
You know, the Pip-Boy is an important part of Fallout, and we love it so much, we made a real one.
Let's go ahead and open this up. You see there's some different frames you can put around your phone.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So in the 45-minute Starfield overview, there are a lot of promises made regarding this game. Some of the biggest ones that I could remember are these.
Our next-generation lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere.
In Starfield, there are full star systems with new life, resources, and adventures. We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do pretty much anything.
We also have an all-new animation system.
Hey, wait, where have I heard that before?
So we have a new animation system which looks great. And of course, you can play it in third person, and you can play it in first person. You can play in third person as well.
Hey, that's not a feature anymore, Todd. It's 2023. Switching from first person to third person isn't really a big deal. Anyway, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and wager that while some of these features will truly be in the game and work well at launch, many of them are either gross exaggerations or outright lies. But here's the thing about Bethesda games and why you should really wait on this one. Thanks to a massive community of highly passionate and talented modders, their games are ever evolving. This means that the Starfield you play on September 6th is radically different from the Starfield you could play in several months' time. While some mods take years, and in some instances decades to complete. Side note, everyone working on Skywind is a literal god. I love you all so much and can't wait for that. Oftentimes, the mods that arise in the first 3 to 6 months constitute major tweaks to the game that either improve features that were exaggerated or implement features that were outright lies. Take for instance that mountain you could climb. That's called the Throat of the World, and upon release you could amble up that mountain, complete the quests there, and do what you needed to do. But holy shit, have you seen the mods just for this one location? Before Bethesda made survival part of the game, there was a mod that made it so you had to keep warm and fed, so the trip up the mountain was much more treacherous. There's a mod for a player house up there or a giant waterfall that both look gorgeous. Speaking of looking gorgeous, there are hundreds of graphical mods that take this location from a poorly textured rock to a jaw-droppingly beautiful mountainscape. There are mods to better organize your UI and streamline the systems in the background so you can get better FPS. There's even a mod that makes it so you don't have to kill my main man, Parthenax. Fuck you, Delphine, I'm not gonna kill the dragon voiced by the Mario guy. My point is, if you climbed this mountain in 2011 for the first time and someone else climbed it for the first time in 2023, the person in 2023 would have an infinitely more awe-inspiring and epic adventure, more akin to what was promised in pre-release trailers for Skyrim. I have zero doubt in my mind, with the massive scale of Starfield, that this will be the same case for that game. Look, if you want to buy Starfield on day one and enjoy it, that's up to you. But as someone who's been gaming for over 30 years and is well past the age where I need to play games on release, I really have to caution you. You only get that first playthrough once. That first playthrough of a massive game like Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas is magical beyond description. When you know next to nothing about the world and your time is spent discovering all the game has to offer, it's easy to put away dozens of hours over a single weekend and to get engrossed in the game. So if you're excited about all the offerings showcased in the trailer, I have to ask, why not wait until the game is in a state to deliver on all those features? Ship customization, piracy, branching quest lines, a massive galaxy to explore, it all sounds great, but Starfield on day one will inevitably be a glitch-ridden mess that will hamper the expectations of many players. We've seen plenty of games get released in a broken state only for them to come back better than ever, and while I don't believe this game will be as fucked up as Cyberpunk on release, it certainly will not be able to smoothly follow through on all of its promises. But Pancake Sean, I'm fine playing this game in a semi-broken state if it means I can play it a little bit sooner. Well, imaginary person I just made up, let me provide you with an alternative that may tide you over. I'm talking, of course, about the fucking amazing video game year that is 2023. I can't remember a year quite so jam-packed with games since 2007, or was it 1997? It was one of the sevens. Anyway, Starfield is releasing alongside some of the most robust titles I have ever seen. This year we've had massive games you can sink an insane amount of time into, such as Metroid Prime Remastered, Fire Emblem Toothpaste Weeaboo Edition, Hogwarts Legacy, Space Groundhog's Day, Kerbal Space Program 2, Anno 1800, Resident Evil 4 Remake. They somehow took the best game ever made and made it better. The Last of Us Remake, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Final Fantasy 16, Anime Scooby-Doo, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, literally the best Zelda game I've ever played, System Shock Remake, Diablo 4, Dave the Diver, Pikmin 4, Armored Core 6, Baldur's Gate 3, which promises well over 100 hours of gameplay and the ability to have sex with a grizzly bear. And 3 separate Hello Kitty games. And after Starfield comes out, we still have a new Spider-Man game, a remaster of Baten Kaitos 1 and 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Alan Wake 2, a new Mario game, and a remake of Super Mario RPG. Quite possibly one of my favorite games of all time that sat in copyright limbo for nearly 30 years. The point is, there are a lot of quality games either releasing or getting a remaster this year that you can sink thousands of hours into while we wait for Starfield to get into a playable and stable state. Look, I know it's hard waiting for a game that you really want, but I say this as a huge fan of Bethesda and their games. Do yourself a favor and hold off on Starfield for just a little bit. The product that releases on September 6th will be the worst version of the game, and if you anchor that first playthrough to it, you will inevitably not get everything you want out of the experience. I've sunk over 300 hours into Oblivion, over 500 into Skyrim, a cool 300 between Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and another 300 some into Fallout 4, and I can tell you time and time again, my early hours with these games on release were bug-ridden escapades of disappointment and frustration. But when even the most basic mods made themselves available a few months after release, the experience was far more enjoyable and memorable. With so many other amazing titles coming out and Bethesda's history of overpromising and under-delivering on launch, why not jump into one of the scores of awesome titles that have been released this year and wait even just a few months while modders elevate Starfield to something truly exceptional, instead of meandering through broken worlds at 15 frames per second and thinking, man, I could have used this $60 to buy buy that Super Mario RPG remake that looks fire as hell. That first playthrough is something that you can never get back, so yeah, maybe just hold off a bit. I mean shit, you probably won't even beat Baldur's Gate before Starfield comes out, so why not go bang a bear and wait for modders to fix Starfield?